Hey guys, welcome to another peacetime painting video, one where I'm speaking to the camera for the first time. So just thought I'd give it a little try. This isn't a video specifically on how to do anything in particular, it's just kind of what I've been getting up to during isolation. If there's anything that you'd like me to go over tutorials for or anything like that, then let me know in the comments and I'll do a video on that. I've just been kind of doing little bits of everything here and there as I fancy. So yeah, I'll just step to it and show you what I've been doing. So first of all, miniatures. It's been a problem for most people, I think, to get miniatures at the minute. A lot of the hobby shops just today I think are starting to get stock from Games Workshop and things like that. Games Workshop themselves had obviously shut down, understandably. So I basically took to Facebook groups, like local gaming groups and things, and just saying what are people selling. I'm after some vehicles and space marines and things just because I fancy painting some, and actually managed to get some. So the first thing I got, and I'm going to have to tap the screen here just to make sure it's in focus. The first thing I got is this Redemptor Dread. It's an easy build one. I got it for like £25 delivered from somebody. I think it was someone with a local game shop. I went at it with the airbrush and stuck a few colour gradients on it and things like that. I got the decals out. Like I used to do Airfix models as a kid. Love decals. I wasn't very good at putting them on. What I found is a real help with decals is to put some matte varnish on them. If you don't do that, they really shine and they really look artificial. But if you do, it really helps to take the that sheen off, which looks a bit unnatural. I'm quite happy with how this has gone. I've still got to do some things like the scroll and things on the front of them there, tidy up the missiles, but all in all I'm kind of happy with how it looks. It's the first time I've done a big vehicle with big colour gradients on the panels, as you can see. Yeah, so had a lot of fun doing that. Thank you the person on Facebook who sold it to me. One thing that I haven't started really doing yet, I'll go to the camera. I asked if anyone had any Terminators. I'd always wanted sort of close combat Terminators since I was a kid, really, and I didn't have the money for them. And there was a firefighter actually who was selling 5 that I wanted, and he said, actually, do you want to get like, what was it, 15 for £30? So I got, this is just 5 of them that I've sort of pre-shaded, and let me get the focus, there you go. But yeah, I basically went to the fire station while this guy was on duty on my bike, and got a road bike with a tiny little bag, and I just stuffed all these Terminators in the fire station into my bag and took them home. Anyway, they're ready for the next stages to go. Whoops, I just dropped one. Probably the favourite thing that I've done is this, what's it called? Storm Talon. So Space Marine Storm Talon. It's a long time since I've done a flyer. The last one I did was probably like 5 years ago. An Imperial Guard Vendetta or Valkyrie, I can't remember which variant I did. But again, this has been a lot of fun to do with the airbrush. Some of the detail needs doing still. But I've got some nice effects with the colour gradients and things like that. On the top I went for the whole scorchy engine look, which I think has gone well. Again, decals went on the back. I put some of the pictures of this on my Instagram, Peacetime Painting. Check me out if you're on Instagram, and say hello. And people seem to really like the picture with the decals and things like that. I really went for highlights on the colour panels here, as you can see, and I think they've come out quite well. I didn't actually shade those gaps. Some people put washes and inks in those little gaps between the panels. I didn't do that, and I think it's still come out okay. Oops. Yeah, I also did a fancy base. Not really. Oh, I think I've just broken it actually by showing it off. So yeah, some trees, which I'll go on to next. And some rocks. These are rocks that actually haven't been painted. You can probably tell that if you're good enough at looking at rocks, I suppose. These are actually pinched from my partner's parents' driveway. Anyway, I often find that the clear intersection of the flying bases with the oval, I just find it a bit jarring, so I just wanted something to break that up. And so that's how it looks there. I will use it on tabletops. I've just taking some of my bush off there. That'll go on, just need a bit more glue. Yeah, so that's been fun to do. Trees, so part of those, what do you call it? Part of the foliage on that base was just bits of these trimmed off, and these are, I think it's called sea foam. So you can buy it, even on Amazon I've seen it for sale. Trees, well, it's like the armatures for trees, and they're just kind of the skeleton basically of trees. And then I went ahead and dry brushed them, made my own foliage here, dirt cheap. There's a lot of videos online of how to do that. I can do one if people want. That's cool. And then just built them up and built them up. Some bits I'm dangling off, that's okay, they can come off. But yeah, just looking for little places to use them, to be honest. So, we've got a street WhatsApp group for my street to help like the old people and things get shopping if they need it, or if anyone's feeling unwell, we can sort of help out however. And there's a lot of swapping on there and things. And I basically said, does anyone have any polystyrene that I can have? And people came up with it. So I have, using hot wire cutters and cheap paints from Wilkinson's, which is just like a general like all-purpose shop, I suppose, that we have here in the UK. Just going ahead and battered some of these out. They need a bit of green on them, a bit of foliage. They're a little bit too, well, they're very quick and basic at the minute, but that's fine for what it is. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun banging some of those out. What else? This is so I've got 2 small kids, and sometimes we go out with a pram and I take them for walks and things. So I was going along a street one time, and someone was loading these big thick polystyrene tiles into the back of the car with rubbish, and I knew they were taking them to the tip. And I said, do you mind if I take one? And the pram was kind of overloaded at the time, so I just took one. And I'm not sure what it came. Maybe it was like a picture or a mirror or something. Anyway, I turned it into a L. So I still need to highlight the rock effect. I got a static grass applicator, which are a lot of fun to use. I gave myself a shock once with it. Be careful. But yeah, I was just yesterday putting static grass on everything. I even put it on like just some random box that I'm not even going to use for anything. Yeah, so that's that. Whoops. What else? So I don't know about you guys, but I basically paint. We've got a decent sized kitchen, and I just do my painting and modelling on the kitchen table, and my partner really doesn't like that. And also the storage, one of the corners of the kitchen, it just looks like a war zone / hobby area. So I've been trying to get toolboxes for things. So here's a toolbox that I had all my Citadel paints in, and I just within the last 2 hours transferred my Citadel paints over to a multi-tiered, it's actually a nail varnish stand. It was like £12 on Amazon, just in order to get rid of some of the boxes and things like that, and that freed up my model paint box. But I thought, okay, I've got this box, there's a kind of mess of things everywhere, what should I do with this? And what I did do with this, there's a clue on the top of this, I turned it into a little compressor box. So I've got my air compressor in there for my airbrush. I'll get my airbrushes in there. Got my airbrush cleaner. Whoops, 2 airbrush cleaners actually. Primer, thinner, it's all in there. I've thought about drilling a hole for the airline to come out, so that I could actually just have a switch on this, or just plug it in, and maybe so I never really need to open this, which is an option. I'm not sure how safe that is with an air compressor, because things can get warm. But yeah, that's sort of one other thing that I've been doing. I think that's kind of it. I haven't made any buildings or anything. I quite like making buildings, but I don't know, just been preferring painting things like this, to be honest. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to see any how-tos or anything on these things that I've made, then let me